Minerals are inorganic elements, unlike vitamins, which are organic compounds made by plants and animals. Minerals come from the earth itself. They enter the food chain through soil and water absorbed by plants, and through the animals that eat those plants. Your body cannot synthesize a single mineral on its own. Every milligram of calcium in your bones, every atom of iron in your blood, every magnesium ion driving your cellular energy reactions, all of it came from the food you ate. There are 16 minerals considered essential to human health. They fall into two categories: macrominerals, which you need in larger amounts, including calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, sodium, potassium, chloride, and sulfur, and trace minerals, which you need in smaller amounts, including iron, zinc, copper, manganese, iodine, selenium, fluoride, chromium, and molybdenum. Mineral deficiencies are among the most widespread nutritional problems in the world, affecting both developing and high-income countries. Iron deficiency is the most common, affecting over 2 billion people. Magnesium insufficiency affects more than half of adults in the United States and Western Europe. Zinc and calcium deficiencies are significant public health concerns across multiple continents. The consequences are often subtle at first: fatigue, poor sleep, reduced immune function, slow recovery, which is why deficiencies often go undiagnosed for years. Today we go through the 5 most impactful minerals, what they do, how much you need, and the best food sources to meet your requirements. Calcium is the most abundant mineral in the human body by weight. 99% of it is stored in your bones and teeth, where it provides structural hardness. The remaining 1% is dissolved in your blood, muscle tissue, and cellular fluid. This 1% may be small in quantity, but it is enormous in importance. Calcium is the trigger for muscle contraction, including every heartbeat. When a nerve impulse reaches a muscle fiber, calcium floods in from surrounding fluid, activating the contraction proteins actin and myosin. Without calcium, your muscles cannot contract. Your heart cannot beat. This is why your body has an extremely tight regulatory system for blood calcium levels. If dietary intake is insufficient, your body will literally dissolve calcium from your bones through a process involving parathyroid hormone to maintain blood levels. Repeated over years, this leads to decreased bone mineral density and increased fracture risk, a condition called osteoporosis. The recommended daily intake is 1,000 milligrams for most adults, rising to 1,200 milligrams for women over 50 and men over 70. The richest food sources are dairy products. 1 cup of milk contains approximately 300 milligrams. Non-dairy sources include kale, bok choy, broccoli, canned sardines, and salmon with their bones, fortified plant milks, tofu made with calcium sulfate, almonds, and white beans. Calcium absorption requires adequate vitamin D. Without sufficient vitamin D, even high calcium intake cannot prevent deficiency. Preference should be given to food sources over supplements because high-dose calcium supplements have been associated in some research with increased cardiovascular risk. Iron deficiency is the most prevalent nutritional deficiency worldwide, affecting more than 2 billion people. It is particularly prevalent among women of reproductive age, infants, young children, and people who rarely eat meat. Iron's most critical function is as a component of hemoglobin, the protein inside red blood cells that binds oxygen molecules in the lungs and releases them into tissues throughout the body. Your muscles also use a related protein called myoglobin, which stores and uses oxygen locally. Without adequate iron, you cannot produce enough healthy hemoglobin. The result is iron deficiency anemia, a condition characterized by persistent fatigue and weakness, difficulty concentrating, pale skin, shortness of breath on exertion, cold hands and feet, frequent infections, and in children, impaired cognitive development and learning. There are 2 distinct forms of dietary iron with dramatically different bioavailability. Heme iron is found in meat, poultry, and seafood, particularly beef, lamb, liver, chicken, and canned fish. It is absorbed at rates of 15 to 35% efficiency, and the absorption rate increases when iron stores are low. Non-heme iron is found in plant foods including spinach, lentils, chickpeas, tofu, pumpkin seeds, fortified cereals, and white beans. It is absorbed at rates of only 2 to 20%. Several dietary factors significantly modulate non-heme iron absorption. Vitamin C consumed at the same meal dramatically increases absorption. Studies show it can double or triple the amount absorbed. Conversely, calcium, the tannins in tea and coffee, and phytates in whole grains all inhibit non-heme iron absorption and should not be consumed alongside iron-rich plant foods when intake is a concern. Magnesium is involved in more than 300 enzymatic reactions in the human body, more than any other mineral. It is a cofactor for the enzymes that produce ATP, the universal energy currency of cells. Every single energy-producing reaction in your body depends on magnesium. It is required for DNA and RNA synthesis, protein synthesis, nerve signal transmission, and the regulation of calcium and potassium channels in cell membranes. Magnesium is also directly responsible for muscle relaxation. It is the physiological antagonist to calcium. Where calcium triggers contraction, magnesium enables relaxation. This is why magnesium deficiency often manifests as muscle cramps, spasms, and difficulty relaxing. Despite being so fundamental, magnesium insufficiency is extraordinarily common. Studies in the United States, Germany, the United Kingdom, and other Western nations consistently find that between 45 and 60% of adults consume less than the recommended daily intake of 310 milligrams for women and 420 milligrams for men. The most common symptoms of suboptimal magnesium intake are chronic fatigue, poor sleep quality, muscle cramps and twitching, anxiety and irritability, high blood pressure, and migraines. Many people suffer from these symptoms chronically without connecting them to magnesium. The best food sources are dark leafy greens, particularly spinach and Swiss chard, pumpkin seeds, dark chocolate, almonds, cashews, black beans, edamame, avocado, fatty fish, and whole grains. For those with insufficient dietary intake, magnesium glycinate is the most bioavailable and well-tolerated supplement form, with magnesium citrate as a close second. Taking 300 to 400 milligrams at night is a common evidence-informed strategy for improving sleep quality and muscle recovery. Zinc and selenium are trace minerals, meaning your body needs them in small amounts, but the consequences of deficiency are significant. Zinc is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions and plays essential roles in immune function, wound healing, protein synthesis, DNA replication, taste and smell perception, and testosterone production. It is a cofactor for the antioxidant enzyme superoxide dismutase, one of your body's primary defenses against oxidative damage. Zinc deficiency impairs immune cell production and activity, reduces wound healing speed, dulls taste and smell, and in severe cases causes hair loss and stunted growth in children. The best food sources of zinc are oysters, which contain more zinc per serving than any other food, beef, crab, lobster, pork, chicken, pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds, cashews, and legumes. Animal sources provide significantly more bioavailable zinc than plant sources due to the zinc-binding effects of phytates in grains and legumes. Selenium is a critical component of selenoproteins, a family of enzymes that include glutathione peroxidase, one of the most important antioxidant systems in the body, and iodothyronine deiodinase, the enzyme that converts the inactive thyroid hormone T4 into the active form T3. Without adequate selenium, thyroid function is impaired. The thyroid gland itself has the highest selenium concentration of any organ. Selenium deficiency is also strongly linked to increased cardiovascular risk and impaired immune function. The single best food source of selenium is the Brazil nut. 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day provides the full recommended daily intake of 55 micrograms, and consuming too many over time can cause selenium toxicity, so moderation is important. Here is what to take away. Calcium supports bone integrity and drives every heartbeat. Target 1,000 milligrams per day from food, paired with vitamin D for absorption. Iron carries oxygen in your blood. 2 billion people are deficient, and pairing plant iron with vitamin C can double your absorption rate. Magnesium drives over 300 enzyme reactions, supports sleep and muscle relaxation, and over half of Western adults are not getting enough. Dark leafy greens, seeds, legumes, and dark chocolate are your best sources. Zinc from oysters, beef, and seeds is critical for immune function and wound healing. And 1 to 2 Brazil nuts per day will cover your entire selenium requirement for thyroid and antioxidant support. The practical strategy is simple. Eat a wide variety of whole foods. Include dark leafy greens, legumes, seafood, nuts and seeds, and quality animal protein regularly. These foods collectively provide most of the minerals you need without having to track individual milligram targets. Up next, we complete the macronutrient series with carbohydrates, simple versus complex, the glycemic index, and why fiber is one of the most powerful but most underused tools for long-term health.